Good afternoon, Patriots. I'm Praying Medic, and this is my Q broadcast for Sunday, June 26th. Welcome to the broadcast. This update covers messages posted by the @Q account on Truth Social, and there are some new posts on the 8kun board by what looks like the original Q. I can't say with certainty that the @Q account on Truth Social is the same person or group that is posted on 4chan, 8chan, and 8kun between 2017 and 2020. I'm also not 100% sure that the person posting on 8kun is the same Q. I think we have reason to believe that it is, but we're going to look at some issues as far as identification goes, and I'll let you make your own conclusions. All right, since the @Q account was created on Truth Social, they've used the lowercase letter Q as their handle. On June 14th, they changed their handle to the capital letter Q. Searches for the lowercase q now return the uppercase Q account. In addition, the statements in their biography section were removed for a period of time, but then they reappeared later that day. Some say that the @Q account was created for the purpose of trolling the mainstream media. That could be true, and if it is true, they hit gold on the 14th of June. Q posted this: "Well, guys, we got him hook, line, and sinker. Rachel Maddow never met a conspiracy theory she didn't like. Trolling mainstream media is the hashtag." So this is Rachel Maddow taking a quote from an article about the @Q account's appearance on Truth Social. And this is the quote: "The platform is overrun with QAnon content pushed by multiple QAnon influencers who have been given verified profiles on the platform. Now Trump himself is boosting QAnon content, resharing dozens of posts containing QAnon imagery, phrases, or memes." Someone responded to that. SGT Christie responded, "Tell Kash Patel that Shifty's head was too small in the Plot Against the King book, but it's still a great book." And the @Q account responded, "I'm telling him now. He says the one and only watermelon head samurai." Chris J87 said, "Hey Q, check this out. I make custom jewelry. Are you that guy that ordered this piece? LOL." And it's a Q with a lot of bling on it. And Q said, "LOL, no, I am not." That was on June 15th. All right, Epaphras Booth said this: Joe Biden fact, his date of birth, November 20th, 1942, is closer in time to the end of the Civil War in 1865 than to his inauguration as president 2021. And King Edmund said, "That is insane." And then the @Q account responded, "Ironic, since he seemingly plans to divide this nation into oblivion and perhaps another civil war." America's Moderate wrote this: this is Governor Newsom they're writing to. "I'm glad you've joined the platform. Why make this a partisan issue, though? Red states, blue states shouldn't matter. Let's not use this platform to divide even more." And the @Q account responded this: "All about open public discourse." Simone Gold posted this: "Breaking, advisors to the FDA have recommended authorizing Moderna's COVID shot for children aged 6 to 17. This after several countries in Europe have limited Moderna's shot for younger age groups upon finding significant links to myocarditis. Our kids deserve better." Mary Bracey responded, "Praying for you, doctor, your sentence is travesty." Simone Gold was sentenced to 60 days. The @Q account responded, "Notice it's the same judge that presided over the Sussman trial, Christopher Cooper. Fun facts: Merrick Garland officiated his wedding. Cooper's wife, Amy Jeffress, was also former National Security Counselor to Eric Holder and is Lisa Page's attorney. No recusal, Coop." Sussman, the guy who lied to the FBI, cough cough Lisa Page, and was involved in a global conspiracy to hijack the most powerful office in America, resulting in the U.S. government spying on their own president. No sentence. Fun stuff. When Joe Biden fell off his bike while out for a ride, right, a bunch of memes were created that day. And this one with Vladimir Putin riding a grizzly bear attacking Joe Biden was posted by Bubbles Kofefe and Q Retruth that post. Marcus Aurelius, Stoics of Truth, which is a verified account of Truth Social, posted this: "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Quote from Aurelius. And Q, "If only we all abided." All right. Now, on June 22nd, Q reposted a video of a lightning strike and said, "Now there's a storm." So this was originally posted by Jack Stout. It was a short video. Impressive storm rolling through the California Central Valley this morning. Thank you, Allie Ann Love, for this amazing capture. All right, and Q wrote, "Now there's a storm." Lightning, clouds, thunder, all that. So this is the second reference that this account has made to the storm. The other one was about a month ago, and it was a post again of a lightning strike that they had taken off their camera on their phone, filmed it, and said something like 5 minutes ago, I just took this video. And that was the first allusion to a storm. This is the second one. In Q's vernacular, the storm is a reference to the coming prosecution of corrupt people in places of power. I think that this account is hinting to us that the storm, the prosecution, is coming. And with it, I think we're going to get a response from the deep state. I anticipate that when information comes out about the corruption of powerful people, that's when we might see some monkey business with the internet, social media platforms being taken offline, those sorts of things. All right, now, Pax Bonham 33 replied, "Interesting phraseology. Shouldn't it be, now that's a storm?" And there's a comma, now comma, that's a storm. And the @Q account said, "Hadn't had my coffee yet." If I were going to rewrite that, I would say, now comma, there's a storm, as in the storm is now, because I think that's what Q is actually getting at. All right, Patriots are in control. One of our buddies posted this: "Real Donald Trump mercilessly mocks Adam Schiff and the Russia January 6th hoaxes." And here's a quote: "I watched this Adam Schiff the other day. Shifty Schiff. Guy's nothing. He's nothing. We call him Watermelon Head. It's the perfect shape of a watermelon. Comedy gold." Then the @Q account posted this meme with Trump lifting a barbell and this guy, Adam Schiff looking character over here watching. MG Ultra, aka MAGA Gang, posted this question: "Why has the @Q account not been verified? Inquiring minds want to know." And then they tagged Cash, Devin Nunes, Kevin, and Just Use a Pen. Kevin responded, "Who is Q?" And Brian said, "It's not the Q from the Chans." And Michelle said, "Either way, dude deserves a check for his efforts." And @Q responded, "Thank you, Michelle. That means a lot." Then @Q retruthed Devin Nunes, who posted a link to his Rumble podcast. "Cash and I talk truth. We even talk meme makers and Steve Inman videos, plus Dan Scavino, who seems to be MIA." And it's interesting because that day, Nunes and Cash Patel were all asking, "Where's Dan? What's up? Where's he at?" And the @Q account said, "I don't usually have FOMO, but this hits different. Fear of missing out, but this hits different." So again, that was a link to the Devin Nunes and Cash Patel podcast. We have this. What's a word for amazing and terrifying at the same time? Picture of Joe Biden holding the little script that they wrote for him at a press conference. So these are notes for the offshore wind drop-by sequence of events. And they have all of his instructions written out here. You enter the Roosevelt room and say hello to participants. You take your seat. Press enters. You give brief comments, 2 minutes. Press departs. You ask Liz Schuler, President AFL-CIO, a question. Note, Liz is joining virtually. You thank participants. You depart. So Biden couldn't screw anything up. They had everything scripted for him. Q posted this on the 24th, the day that the Roe versus Wade decision came out from the Supreme Court. "Marked safe from being gaslit by the mainstream media today." And then marked safe from raging abortionist today meme, and this is updated for today, but only so far. And then Fletch17 said, "You beat me to it." Q responded, "That speaks volumes because you're quick." And then the @Q account retruth this meme. It's Justice Clarence Thomas pointing to his head, the smart guy meme. Release the opinion on concealed carry before Roe versus Wade riots. Yes, good strategy. And then we have this meme. A number of violent protesters and groups have said they're basically coming after rural America. So this account, Informant, don't mess with rural America. So we have these people in their gear and their masks and everything. And we have Granny here with her AR. Y'all hurry up, I've got a pie in the oven. That's exactly what would happen if you go out to the rural areas. And then there's a picture here, this meme with a little old lady. She's got her rifle here coming out to the parking lot, and the caption is, "Shit's getting real." And Q said, "Nana." All right, that gets us caught up to the @Q account on Truth Social. Now we're going to look at some posts, the new ones, from the Q account posting on 8kun. But before we continue, a little housekeeping is in order. All right, for those of you who have not visited my website a whole lot, we're going to do that. And I'm going to show you around the website just a little bit, some of the things that are on their features, because in the coming months, some of you may need this information. So let me take you on a little tour of my website. This is the desktop version. You'll see a menu at the top, and it's, home, videos and articles, Q. This is a drop-down menu, and there are links to the Q videos, Q posts, and Q books. There's a books menu, all the rest of my books, podcast, supernatural mentoring, classes, MP3s, subscribe, and a few other things. And you can also access most of those menu items through the portals on the front. If you are looking for my Q videos, I have an archive of over 250 Q videos. You can click on the Q videos, or you can, like I said, go to the drop-down menu and you see the Q videos right there. Click on that. That'll bring you to this page. This has all of my Q videos archived all the way back to January of 2018. Lots and lots of videos there. And let me show you something kind of cool. If you are new, you might just come here and scroll through and go to the Q for Beginners video. This is a video I did recently that explains Q posts, gives you some idea of what Q is all about. You might want to check this video out. And if you are, or you know someone who is hearing impaired, when these videos are archived, I initially start these videos out with Rumble. When I put them in the archives after a week or so, I put in a different video format because Rumble doesn't do closed captioning. This particular video service that I use, they do have closed captioning. So if you go to one of these videos and you go to the lower right corner and you click on this, on the settings button, it'll bring up a menu that says subtitles, and the default is off. If you click on that, you can click on English Auto. And what that does is it turns on the subtitles. So that way, when you play the video, you'll get subtitles at the bottom. And this is my video introduction, Q. All right, so I don't need to hear myself talking. But that's something that some people might want to know about. If you're looking to find the Q posts, go to the menu, and if you're in the mobile, it'll be displayed in the little hamburger over here on the left, and there's a drop-down menu. But on the desktop, just go to the drop-down menu, click Q posts, and this will bring up a page that displays all the Q posts. There's even a search bar here that you can type in if you want to find a particular term, like FISA. You can type that in and you'll see that there's 85 posts with FISA. FISA equals a start, there's 6 posts, right? So this is an easy way to find Q posts if you're looking for them. My Q books are not available on Amazon. They were actually blacklisted about a year and a half ago. They are available on a couple of different places. If you click on the Q Chronicles tab, that'll bring up this page, and you can buy the paperback and the ebook version on this page. Click on either book and it'll take you to the page where you can put in your payment information. The other option for my Q books is Barnes & Noble. If you go to the Barnes & Noble website, my Q books, Calm Before the Storm and Great Awakening, are available there. If you click on the drop-down menu podcast, or if you click on the portal here on the front page, that'll take you to my podcast page. A lot of people don't even know that I have podcasts, but I have been podcasting since, I think, 2014. My podcasts are all here. They are audio. Those of you who have enjoyed my healing videos, all of those videos are also available as audios that you can download from my Podbean site. So if you click on the title on any of the podcasts, it'll take you to my podcast page on Podbean. There is the episode and you can download it. The other option is you can just click on the Praying Medic and that'll bring up all of my podcasts, audio and video. Yes, all my Q videos are also available as a podcast. The file size is a lot smaller. It's not an HD video, it's a compressed video file. But for people who need videos that are smaller file size, my podcast page on Podbean is actually a good place to find information. For those of you who would like to get updates on my website when I post a new video, you can actually subscribe through the top menu, or if you're on the mobile device, the drop-down menu on the sidebar. Click on the subscribe button and it'll pull up a page. Put in your name and your email address and hit subscribe. You will then get an email notification every time I put out a new video or article. All right, now let's get into the latest Q posts. So on the night of July 24th, someone who appears to be Q posted 3 messages on the 8kun Q research board. One thing to note about these posts is that no user ID was assigned to them. So if you go to the post, here's the trip code, here's the user ID, this is the post number from the board. This is a post number that's assigned by the boards that scrape the posts and pick them up and display them. And then you've got date, the time, and then the message. All right. Typically, when Q posts, there'll be a user ID here. These posts did not have a user ID, and some people were wondering why that was. Well, the absence of a user ID would be expected when someone posts using the Tor network. Tor is an anonymous browser used by people who want to conceal their location or identity. It routes your internet traffic through a series of nodes around the world, and it's pretty much impossible to figure out where the person is posting from. That's why there's no user ID when someone posts on Tor. Also worth noting is the fact that this post had the same trip code Q used the last time he posted in December of 2020. So below here, we've got Q's previous last post, December 8th, 2020. It's a link to a YouTube video. We're not going to take it. That was post number 4953. Well, the very next post was posted on June 24th, same trip code for both posts. So normally we look at that and say, oh, that's awesome. We know this is Q because Q is posting under the same trip code. However, we had a problem, and I'll explain in a minute. But first, people have been asking, what the heck is a trip code? Some users sign in to boards like 4chan and 8kun when they post, and they use a password. So they sign into the website with a password. The password generates a unique anonymous ID number called a trip code. It's a letter, number, character string. The trip code is one way in which we know that control of Q's account has not been taken over by someone else. People have been tracking Q's trip code very carefully to make sure that it's always the same trip code and that somebody hasn't hacked the trip code or taken over the account. So some anons were confused when they realized their own trip codes had changed recently, but Q's trip code had not. So Enoch, who is one of the more well-known anons, wrote this: "There's talk on the board about trip codes. It seems trip codes have changed even if you use the same password. If this is the case, how can Q have the same trip code? Something we need to figure out." And then you had a screenshot here that Enoch took of one of his own posts with his trip code on it. As you can see from my image, I have a trip code. What I'm showing is, although I did not change my password, the trip code changed. So Enoch and a few other people are wondering why their trip codes changed, but Q's didn't. And it's a good question. After some discussion on the board, the board owner addressed a few concerns that had been raised. This is from the board owner. Thank you, Baker. And this is a response. Whenever you see these numbers on a post, if you're new to this, I'll explain a few things. When you see a couple of arrow signs with like a 6 or 7 digit number behind it, that is a link to somebody else's comment. So the Baker, the person who was responsible for creating this thread, the board owner said, "Thank you, Baker." That's a response there. So this is his message. I'm usually on duty much of every day. Today, in real life, intervened. I've been preoccupied with other matters much of the day. First, very glad to see Q on the board. Second, Tor posting was enabled a few days ago for purposes of testing. Anons who check the practice thread can check that out. There have been glitches, which is why it has not been announced. Tor was turned off by the previous board owner. Have been exploring turning it back on if glitches could be worked out. Useful during some kind of attacks. Third, to my knowledge, no one but Q has access to Q's trip code. We'll consider Q posts made under that trip as from Q unless there is clear and definitive reason to believe otherwise. This is another response to another board volunteer, suggesting board volunteer confer with 8kun admin rather than speculate about the reason for the trip code changes involving archiving. Can verify that no trip code setting was changed on the board level. Jim Watkins weighed in on the issue. Jim is the owner of the website 8kun, and he said Q's trip code has been whitelisted and it's not affected the way other trip codes are. Here is his message.
Hey guys, good morning. I am still in Southern California, and I don't have the computer that I SSH into service with me. But as far as it goes, I'm able to tell by the WYSIWYG interface that the Q post on the Project Calms by B, that was not a Q post, was deleted by the proper account. And they logged in about 13, 14 hours ago and did that. Then it's the same account that hasn't logged in for a long, long time. So that should be proof enough that it's at least the people that have the proper password. And everyone says it's like 10 or less. Well, that may be, I don't know, because I don't know who they are. They're a group of people that don't give me what's going on. As far as the trip codes changing, the servers changed a lot, and that's possible. But that particular trip code is whitelisted and exempted from any sort of thing like that. So that would be a separate thing. But I didn't do any editing to the machines at all this weekend because I am in Southern California and I don't bring my SSH computer with me. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America too.
So with the comments from the board owner and from Jim, I am reasonably confident this is the same Q who has been posting since 2017. I would expect Q to confirm his identity at some point by simultaneously posting with President Trump as he has in the past. Let's look at an example of that. When 8chan was shut down in 2019 and its replacement 8kun went online in November of 2019, Q posted on that board for several weeks under his old trip code and then let Anons know a trip update was coming along with re-verification. So here's a post from November 24, 2019. Future trip C re-verify. Trip C is trip code. Notebook, pen, watch, desk. Anon interaction coming soon, Q. Q had not interacted with Anons at all on that board up until that point. He wanted to be able to have a chance to verify and change his trip code first. The following day, Q asked board administrator CodeMonkey, who was administrator at the time, he's no longer administrator, to set up a new read-only board called Project DComs. So Q posts on 2 different boards. He has a private board, which is read-only. He's the only one that can post on it. He's the only one that has access to it. And then there's the Q research board, in which Q can post on that board, and Anons can respond. They can also post on it. So Project DComs is, I think, the 4th private board that Q has had. So the message here was New board created, pending approval from CodeMonkey, Project DCOMS Q. Then on December 2nd, 2019, the new board was created, Project DCOMS. This is the first post, and it involves 18 U.S. Code, Chapter 115, treason, sedition, and subversive activities. I'm not going to go into that right now, but I'm just showing you that this is a private board that Q set up. Now, that same day at 12:55 and 59 seconds Eastern Time, Q posted the message below, signifying that it was time for the trip code update and reconfirmation. So here's the message: trip config Q. All right, here's the timestamp, 12:55 and 59 seconds Eastern Time Zone. It happened that less than a minute later, President Trump tweeted the message below: the Republican Party has never been so united. This impeachment scam is just a continuation of the 3-year witch hunt, but it is only bringing us even closer together. Note the time. This is 9:56 a.m. This timestamp was actually taken in the Pacific time zone, not the Eastern time zone. When you are comparing timestamps, it is very important to make sure that the screen caps you're taking are from the same time zone. That is critical, because otherwise you might be off by an hour or two. So if you go to the Trump Twitter archive, it archived all of President Trump's tweets, both the deleted ones and the ones that were not deleted, and gives you a timestamp in the Eastern time zone. So we can see here that the tweet was posted at 12:56 and 48 seconds Eastern time zone, or 49 seconds after this post by Q, less than a minute. So then Q posted again with a link to the president's tweet and said trip ident delta-1. So Q is letting us know that the 1 minute delta, or the posting in less than a minute, was confirmation that Q and President Trump are working together. But that wasn't the only reconfirmation. A half hour later, Q posted again to let Anons know a second confirmation was coming. This post contained an image of a watch showing the time of 1:29. So you can see the watch here, 1:29 is the time. And the message is trip confirmed to relay 1 through 99 Q. All right, so important to note that on this post here, when Q indicated that a reconfirmation was coming, he noted that one of the proofs would be a watch. And here we have a post with a watch. Exactly 1 week later, on December 9th, 2019, the Department of Justice Inspector General posted the IG report on FISA abuse on their Twitter account at exactly 1:29 Eastern. This is a screen cap of the tweet. You can see the timestamp down here is 1:29 on December 9th. That same day, Attorney General Barr posted his response to the IG report at 1:29 Eastern on the DOJ Twitter account. Again, here's a screen cap of the tweet. Time is 1:29. That same day, U.S. Attorney John Durham posted his response to the IG report, also at 1:29 Eastern. Here's a screen cap of the tweet. You can see the timestamp, 1:29. So let's review this. The watch photo was posted by Q on Project DCOMS as part of a trip code verification on 12/2/19. The date showing on the watch was the 2nd. The time was 1:29. Exactly a week later, to the minute, the DOJ IG report on FISA abuse was made public. The report on FISA abuse was posted on the DOJ Twitter account at 1:29, that's the time, and the date is 1/2/9, or 1:29. The date 12/9 has the same numbers in the same order as the time 1:29, so it's 12/9 is the date, but it's the same number as 1:29 as the time 1:29. Then Attorney General Barr's response to the report, same time, same date. John Durham's response to the report, posted on the Connecticut U.S. Attorney's Twitter account, 1:29, same date. It's possible that these incidents are just coincidences, or they could suggest that Q has foreknowledge or even control over certain events. This information is being provided to show how Q confirmed his relationship to President Trump in the past, and I expect that Q is going to offer similar proof in the future to reconfirm his identity. So if you're on the fence right now, if you're not sure, because of the trip code issue, not a big deal. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. We don't have to agree on everything. All right, so this is the first message posted by Q the night of the 24th. Shall we play a game once more? Q. This phrase, shall we play a game, has been used often by Q, but this time he added once more. The message seems to be a challenge to the enemies of freedom, specifically the deep state. I think that Q has returned for a specific reason, and this hints at what the reason is. I think that Q and President Trump are going to go on offense very shortly. All right, the phrase, shall we play a game, is from the film War Games. It's a fictional story about a teenager who hacked into the Pentagon computer and nearly started World War III. That's interesting because the post could suggest that Joe Biden plans to escalate military conflict in Ukraine and maybe go into a full-blown World War III. I am concerned that that may eventually happen. And that's something we need to pray against, by the way. Does it hint at worsening relations with China? If China and Russia came together with a few allies against the United States, that would be World War III, basically. To help verify his identity, Anons asked Q to remove an old post that a rogue board volunteer had posted on his read-only board, Project DCOMS. So Anon wrote here, so like you're going to delete that B post on Project DCOMS. Here's the post in question. This was a post that showed up on Q's board, Project DCOMS, in May of 2021. And no one really knew how this post got there for a while. Fact versus fiction will not tell you which is which, who gave you the playbooks, who helps you answer questions. I did about a half-hour video on this. It's in my archives where I explain how the post got there. Jim Watson basically said that it was a rogue board volunteer who got access to the Q's board and posted the message, and that person had been relieved of duties. But that post was still there. It has been there until a couple days ago when Q removed it. So here is a screenshot of Project DCOMS right now. Previously, this post was on this page. It's not there anymore. And Jim Watkins said whoever is in control of that account, they removed that post. That's, I think, more evidence that Q actually does have control of the account. This is from another Anon. Throw us a bone, Q. We've all been waiting for what seemed like an eternity. What's going on? And Q responded, it had to be done this way. Q. And if you look back at the events that have transpired over the last year and a half, it has not gone exactly the way most of us would have envisioned, but we can see things are starting to go in a positive direction. Look at the way that Joe Biden and his corruption and his incompetence is being exposed. Look at how normies are having to reconcile, $6, $7 a gallon gas, sky-high prices. A lot of people are waking up. And this operation is all about waking people up to the realities of corruption. Here's a third post from June 24th. Are you ready to serve your country again? Remember your oath, Q. Now, we were all wondering that night, who is Q talking to? You talking to me? Look at posts from 2 years previously. May provide a clue. This post was a question to retired 3-star General Mike Flynn. So we have 3 asterisks or 3 stars. And Q wrote, are you ready to serve once again? And this message was posted on June 24th, 2020, exactly 2 years previously. The People's General, soon. Then we have 3 asterisks, Q. I believe that when President Trump returns to the White House, General Flynn is going to be appointed director of the FBI. Flynn has actually made public statements saying that he is willing to oversee the reformation of the FBI. And I think that's what those discussions are about. I'm not sure. That's just me spitballing. If we continue looking at posts from 2 years ago, this one was posted on June 24th, 2020, exactly 2 years earlier. You have been selected to help serve your country. Never retreat from the battlefield. And then Q identifies the battlefield as social media platforms like Twitter, Facebook, etc. Use other platforms as form of centralized command and control. Right. So at that time, some people were posting on Parler and other platforms where they weren't being censored. Organize and connect, bridge through linking. Source memes and materials from the battlefield and or garage. Highlight and share, take and drop. So sharing of memes, sharing of information. Mission 1, dispute, reject, propaganda push through posting of research and facts. Mission 2, support the role of other digital soldiers. One falls, another stands, rises. Mission 3, guide, awaken others through the use of facts. D-Class 1 through 99 material and other relevant facts. And memes, decouple MSDNC control of the info stream. Ask counter questions to initiate thought versus repeat echo of the MSDNC propaganda. Mission 4, learn to use camouflage digitally. Primary account suspended or terminated, use of a secondary account. This is when a lot of us were being suspended on social media. Q is telling us to learn how to camouflage our activity, camouflage our accounts so we don't get suspended. Mission 5, identify strengths and weaknesses, personal, our own, and the designated targets, i.e. Twitter, Facebook, and others. Example, memes, failure to read through use of algorithm. Think Tron, MCP, Master Control Program. Dependence on a person-to-person capture, slow response, time-identified users. Game theory, information warfare, welcome to the digital battlefield. Together we win. So this was Q commissioning us to sign up to be digital soldiers in an information war. And sign up we did, and fight we did, and we still are. And the reason why Devin Nunes, President Trump, and his people have created Truth Social is because they know that this battle can only be won if we have a censorship-free platform. That's why they created it. And we are going to fight the war on social media. That's going to be one of our strongholds. It's a place where we can connect, share ideas, share memes, and not be censored. All right, that message was posted 3 seconds before a tweet by President Trump. So another zero delta was what we call it, when Q and the president posted at the same time. And this is, like I said, 3 seconds difference. So here's the Q drop, and the timestamp is 8:54 and 46 seconds. This tweet by President Trump about the coronavirus, 8:54 and 49 seconds. So Q posted 3 seconds before President Trump. Q joked that Dan Scavino was to blame when the posts were not time-stamped at exactly the same time. 3 seconds, Dan is to blame Q. Scavino operates, at that time, was operating President Trump's social media. And we believe that Scavino is on the team. All right, Q then posted this same day, June 24th, 2020. Take the oath, mission forward, Q. So Q is telling us to take the oath, and this Anon responded, I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I will take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter, so help me God. Where we go one, we go all. If you want to take that oath, you can. A lot of us did 2 years ago, and a lot of us did it on video, and we posted our videos on Twitter and social media. And Enoch and Q compiled a bunch of those videos and posted them. I believe Q is asking us to recommit ourselves to the digital battlefield. I suspect that Q came back on the board and is posting now because he knows that important information about corruption is about to be exposed, and he wants us to help disseminate it on social media. I think the war of information is heating up, and we're getting to a critical point. All right, so last night, this post showed up on the board, signed by Q, but the sender was not logged in with a trip code. So just to look at this post, it's an anonymous account. The date here is the 25th of June, timestamp, and then we've got ID, no ID. So this user was posting via the Tor browser and not logged in with a trip code. However, signed Q. So here's the message. Who is Jane Roe? How do you control generations of a populace? 50 years of conditioning, 50 years of propaganda, 50 years of lies, peaceful protests, riots, summer of love redo. What happens when you corner an animal? Midterms, D-power implosion, Q. All right, that sounds like the old Q that we're used to reading posts from. A second message was sent a little while after that, establishing comms, Q, again, still an anonymous account. And then the third message with Q's trip code, established Q. And these two links are to these two posts up here. And that's why they show up on the board now, because they wouldn't have showed up on the board at all because Q wasn't logged in with a trip code, but they showed up because Q linked to them with his trip code, and that pulled all three posts to the board. So to answer the question, who is Jane Roe? We'll watch this video and let you decide who Jane Roe was.
Jane Roe's story was a terrible one. She said she had been gang raped, gotten pregnant, was desperate to get an abortion. That's what everyone believed as long as Jane Roe remained anonymous. When she went public, she told a different story.
You were raped while you were in Georgia?
No, I wasn't.
You were not?
No, I wasn't.
Oh, so all those stories that are in the books and so forth are not true?
Yes, sir. Yes.
They're not true.
Right.
And it turned out that lying wasn't the only embarrassment this darling of the pro-choice forces presented. In her personal treatise published last year, Norma McCorvey told the story of her somewhat sordid life. Then she still adamantly supported abortion. Now she adds that to the list of sins she took with her into the baptismal pool.
I've cheated people out of money. I've sold drugs. I was an abusive alcoholic for many years. I've done a lot against his teachings. But I think the far greater sin that I did was to be the plaintiff in Roe versus Wade.
So Jane Roe's story was a lie, and as Q pointed out here, we have gone through 50 years of conditioning, lies, and propaganda, but that is about to change. That is all I have for this update. As Q keeps posting, I will keep you updated. It sometimes takes me a day or two to catch up. I do appreciate your patience waiting for me to get this video out. Please keep me and Denise in prayer. Keep President Trump in prayer. Keep Q and the team in prayer. Keep the children in prayer. Love you all. Take care. I'll catch you on the next broadcast.